the contract signing for the other main event of WrestleMania, the night one seemingly main event, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and CM Punk, a triple threat match with right now, Jared, nothing technically on the line, but as we speculated a little bit ago, everything is on the line in this triple threat match. It's really a balance of power of sorts. Which way's Paul Heyman going to go? What's the, I'll say this, Jared. What's exciting about this triple threat match is people can question how they've booked it. People can question why they're doing it all they want. But just like the Cena and Cody match, this triple threat match, I honestly think it's unpredictable as to who's going to win. Like a lot of people online have speculated, oh, it's definitely this guy. Oh, it's definitely that guy for this reason or that reason. Jared, I don't know who's going to win, man, and that makes it even more exciting.
Yeah, I mean, you have, like you said, basically the three top names, or three of the top names for sure.
Yep.
I mean, you got to throw Cody in there, I guess, but you have the three main guys that are all just going at each other. And whether there's anything on the line or not, you can bet that it's going to be worked in the storyline after the match. That one of them say, well, I won up against these two other guys who are the best in the business, so I deserve fill in the blank.
Yep, absolutely. No doubt about that. And the storytelling in this, like we've been saying this whole show, weaving things in and out, the storytelling in this was fantastic. I'm going to flash the same picture back up here because, Jared, I don't care if you're a CM Punk fan or not, because everybody that's listened to this show for a long time knows how opposed to CM Punk that I've been for a long time. But when you watch that moment right there that is on your YouTube screen, the way that they were able to tell the story of this being the main event of WrestleMania and working it into the contract, and not only all of that, because those were real tears in the eyes of CM Punk and Paul Heyman when this was revealed, but to have Heyman be the one to tell CM Punk on national television that he was going to be in the main event, dude, it's oh my gosh, it was just chef's kiss, man. It was so good.
It was awesome, man. And then we find out at the end that that wasn't even the favor.
Right.
The favor's still in play. So, yep. I mean, we got all this kind of for free, or Punk did, because he didn't really ask for it. It just kind of came to be. And it's not even that he had to use his favor in order to get what he wanted.
Okay. So lots of people have been speculating. There's one narrative that seems to have stuck out there about the favor. So I'm going to ask you, is the favor that Heyman has to be in Punk's corner for this match, or is it something more than that?
That seems to be the most logical thing, because I don't really know what else that you could have. Heyman doesn't have the stroke or the power to put to say, okay, well, whoever wins gets a shot at whoever the world or the universal champion is. He doesn't really seem to have that kind of power. It has to be something that Heyman can do for Punk. And the only thing that I can really see that he can do would be to accompany him at ringside and be his wise man in this triple threat match.
I don't know, something in me, because they've been planting this seed of this favor since WrestleMania last year. Let's go back and
it seems too easy.
Right. I think that's what I'm saying. It's like, look at it from last year when Roman Reigns went away. Solo Sikoa is heading up the bloodline. And then the night in Chicago, they threatened to attack Punk. And Heyman comes out and he says, no. Per Roman Reigns, as a favor to me, CM Punk cannot be touched. Okay, why? All right, we don't know. So then Roman Reigns comes back. He needs another member for War Games. And Paul Heyman calls up a favor for CM Punk and says, I need you here. Well, that's a favor for Heyman. That's two favors for Heyman now. And then Punk says, well, I need one in return. So all that to say, Jared, they've been planning this for quite a while. It's not like this, some storyline that we just threw in there for War Games just to make it interesting. There are steps here for this. That's what makes me think it's bigger than just Heyman's got to walk out with Punk. Like he's got to be in his corner. Yeah, that's going to drive Roman Reigns insane, but Seth Rollins doesn't care. So like, I think it's more than that.
Yeah, if you didn't know any better, you would think that somehow Roman is going to acquire that Universal title and that Punk's favor is going to be, I want a shot at Roman and that title.
Yep.
But right now, Roman doesn't have it. So other than you have Roman win at WrestleMania, and then he does, get the title shot, and he immediately wins it, and then Punk cashes in the favor, I don't know what else you can do besides the whole accompany to the ring deal.
Here's something that I think, and I could be just going out on a limb here, but I was listening to Sam Roberts earlier this morning, and so I can't take all the credit for this, but Sam painted the picture of the fact that the old tribal chief is starting to come back in Roman Reigns. We're starting to see, hey, Punk, I did all this. Acknowledge me. I did this. Hey, Seth, I made all this. This wouldn't be, we wouldn't have Netflix deals and $1 billion deals if it wasn't for me. I did this. So we're starting to see the old Roman Reigns come out. Well, Jared, we're talking about world title win. Okay, maybe it's not Cody's title. Maybe the way we bring some credibility back to the world heavyweight title is if Roman Reigns wins it. Well, what if that old, just hear me out a minute. What if that old tribal chief gets greedy and his cousin Jey Uso is the one holding that championship? And he says, nuh-uh, I want it. If anybody in our family is going to be dripped in gold, it's going to be me. Roman takes it from Jey. And then to your point about Punk cashing in a favor, that's how we get the world title, and we don't affect Cody and we don't affect Cena.
I'm not a big fan of that. I would be a big fan of Roman winning the triple threat. Cody or Cena, either one could win. You have Roman beat them and win the Universal title, and then that's when you bring Jey back in the picture, and Roman gets greedy. He says, this Universal title, it's not enough. I want all the gold. That's how I would play it if I was going to go any route near the one you just laid out.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a lot of different ways that they can go with it. I've thought all along that Punk's favor has to have the world title in it, because it seemed like the
Universal or the world,
all of the above, some form of world championship. Because after all, Punk is on Raw, and that championship is on Raw. I don't know how that affects Roman Reigns. That's why I said just throw him in there if Jey wins it. But I feel like the favor has to involve the world title in some way. But regardless, what would be really interesting, Jared, you brought it up earlier, the speculation of Seth Rollins aligning with Paul Heyman. Then the favor gets even more interesting if Seth Rollins aligns with Paul Heyman, because I thought, we're talking about storytelling and how great it was. Man, I thought it was so good when Seth Rollins finds out that this is going to be the main event. And we have heard Seth preach and preach and preach about how important the WrestleMania main event is. And he did it in that promo even. He said, it's sacred. It's what I've worked my whole life for. And it's the one thing that I tried to prevent you from getting, CM Punk. And CM Punk gets it. So Seth Rollins fulfills his dreams, but he fulfilled CM Punk's at the same time. So, man, it could get really interesting if Rollins and Heyman do align.
Yeah, I could even see that in my head as you were saying it. You have Seth with that obnoxious laugh. And there's Paul Heyman, the little penguin or walrus waddling around there beside him. And then out comes Punk and says, remember that favor?
Uh-huh.
Cashing it in now. and then you just see all the life and the color just drain right out of Seth. Oh, it would be such a great thing.
Oh, it would be so funny. I mean, you talk about a twist in this storyline. I just the where Paul Heyman is going to land in this whole thing is just so interesting to me because of the guys that are in this triple threat match, Seth Rollins is the only one he's never had an affiliation with. So that would be intriguing. But what was really funny, Jared, is after Roman tells Punk, hey, one man's however he said it, one man's favor is
Dream.
one man's dream is another man's favor, something like that. And then he tells Punk, hey, you need to acknowledge me. Acknowledge me for what I did for you. And Jared, you saw Paul Heyman, you read his lips. He told him not to acknowledge Roman. Like, just to add another layer to what is happening right here, you think that Heyman is the wise man for Roman Reigns. He's pulling all the strings for Roman, yet he's telling Punk, don't acknowledge him. Like, back to the point that I was making about the old tribal chief coming up. Do you think Heyman is seeing that and he's trying to, to push that back down and to not let Roman turn into what he was? Like, so many ways we can go here.
I almost think that it's almost like Paul feels and knows that Roman is not what he used to be. And so I think that because Roman has kind of lost that killer instinct, maybe that would be the reason that Paul aligns himself with Seth. He's hungry, he's determined, regardless of how he does it, he's going to do it. And by doing it, I mean win that belt.
It's so interesting, man. It's so interesting. Oh my goodness. I can't, again, as we said about Kobe, I said it at the top of this segment. This is unpredictable, and I am here for it. Like I know Andy has said all the time on this podcast, the match is going to be good. He would rather see a singles match, but dude, like as we dive more and more into this story, and as we peel back the layers of this onion, this is what a triple threat match is made of. It's these stories that are so intertwined. You have to put them in a triple threat match. Like there's no other way around it. Like you have to. People online speculate that, this was just because of what happened at the Royal Rumble. Like, oh, they decided day of Royal Rumble that this is how they were going to get eliminated and this is where we're going. No, Jared, they've been planting these seeds for a long time. Long time. And don't even get us started on the history between Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins and where they could go and that story that they can tell.
I want at some point a documentary or a podcast or whatever that shows exactly how from last WrestleMania to this WrestleMania, when the people behind the scenes knew what direction they were going, or maybe they've known it the whole time, and then how they tweaked it as they went along based on crowd response, based on injury, or whatever else may have happened. I would just love to know.
I know that a lot of people aren't taking stock into last year's behind the curtain documentary where they talked about the Rock and Roman and Cody situation. But having said that, Triple H said in that documentary, they had their WrestleMania plans finalized in October. And then the Rock thing happened and they changed them. All that to say, if I had to bet around SummerSlam to October, is probably when they figured these things out. But I'm thinking if this whole Rock thing was part of it, obviously his schedule's up in the air. They had something from WrestleMania last year all the way to this year, like they used to do back in the day. Sit by Vince's pool, pal, and we book it year to year, pal, and we book it backwards and blah, 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 blah,
Yeah, but he's the guy we can't mention anymore. Remember? No, man. It would be hard for anyone to legitimately convince me that they had all of this planned out from
Yes.
last WrestleMania. I think that they probably had like the building blocks in place, but I don't think that they had the entire house built starting at last WrestleMania. That's why I would love to know along the way what made them tweak it, when they knew what. I need to know these things. And that's great because it's been a long time since there's been anything on wrestling that I've cared enough to want to know all this